And welcome back, everybody. Jim Crane here with you once again. Today I wanted to do a comparison between two products that are becoming more and more popular with people these days, and that is a small field size bag. So there's a brand new product from Saddleback Leather called Mountainback Indiana Gear Bag. And this bag, of course, you probably recognize as the Filson Small Field Bag. It's been around for years and years. In fact, I've owned this bag for many years. It's been everywhere with me. So I wanted to do a comparison of these two bags. And first of all, before we get started, if you are a Saddleback Leather Company fanatic or a Filson Company fanatic and you can't stand to hear any kind of critique about your favorite company, you might want to hit the stop button and maybe check out another video or something. And for the rest of you folks who are still here, who are beautiful, open-minded, curious, lovers of adventure, we'll continue with the comparison, okay? So first of all, what they're made out of. The Filson bag is made, they're both made with a canvas. The Filson bag is a 22-ounce waxed canvas. It is called Rugged Twill. Feels very substantial in your hand. The Mountainback Indiana Gear Bag is made from 24-ounce waxed canvas, and so it's a little heavier canvas, and they both companies kind of treat them the fabric differently. It's a waxed canvas. This is also a waxed canvas, and you can get wax for either one of these to replenish it if you use them a great deal. On the Filson bag, the 22-ounce Rugged Twill, on the flaps and on other parts of the bag, they double the fabric. So there's two pieces of fabric sewn together and finished off with this leather edge, and so it feels like 44-ounce fabric here, whereas the Indiana Gear Bag feels a little lighter in the hand, even though it's actually a heavier fabric, but it's just one layer of it, so it does feel a little bit lighter. That's okay with me, doesn't bother me at all. They do it on the flap and on the other flaps and other parts of the bag just for, and the bottom of the bag, for wear and tear, because those are the parts of the bag that are going to get a lot of wear and tear. So the bottom of this bag, it's two layers of fabric sewn together, but the bottom of the Indiana Gear Bag is a great big heavy piece of leather, so that's not going to wear through. Okay. As far as the prices are a little different. The Indiana Gear Bag is $247. The Small Field Bag from Filson is $182. As far as capacities are very, very similar. They have slightly different dimensions. The Indiana Gear Bag is 11 inches tall, it's 10 inches wide, and it's about 3 inches deep. And on the Filson bag, it's 10 inches wide, it's 9 inches tall, and it's about 4 inches deep. And depending on how much you shove into either one of these bags, that's going to change a little bit. Because they are fabric, they're not rigid, you can cram a lot of stuff in there. So the Indiana Gear Bag empty is 3¼ pounds. The Filson bag is right around 2 pounds, a little shade over that. So if that's an issue, that's something to take into consideration. The leather on the Indiana Gear Bag is just wonderful, heavy-duty, thick leather. It is, they call old bull leather, which is really 12 to 13-ounce vegetable tanned leather that is just wonderful, scrumptious, lovely, heavy-duty leather. It's never, ever going to fail on you. You can just see how thick that piece of leather is. So they both are constructed similarly, and therefore that's why I wanted to compare the two. They both have great shoulder straps. The shoulder strap on the Indiana Gear Bag is made from the same heavy-duty waxed canvas. It's sewn over on itself, so it's twice as thick as this fabric here. The shoulder pad is a single piece of the 13-ounce vegetable tanned leather. Does a great job. You could probably pull a boxcar with this strap, so no worries there. There is an adjustment here, so you can adjust the strap to use crossbody or to just use over the shoulder. It is attached with this very substantial thick piece of leather, copper rivets, stainless steel hardware, big heavy duty grommet, and a lot of stitching and a lot of heavy-duty pieces of fabric here holding this on. It's just never going to go anywhere. It's going to be like that till the end of time. On the Filson bag, it uses brass, so we got a brass D-ring. We've got a brass swivel snap. It uses a brass rivet here, and then it's sewn. The handle on the Filson bag is just sewn into this kind of leather spine here on the back. And they use an English bridle leather, which is about 7 to 8 ounce in thickness. Okay, there is a nice shoulder pad. Their strap, first of all, is all leather. There's no fabric in it. Shoulder pad has some closed cell foam in it. It's very comfortable. This bag I've had for years, and I still can't break in this shoulder pad. It's still pretty stiff, so that kind of bothers me a little bit about it. I don't know if I'm going to live long enough to break that shoulder pad in. So as far as capacities, I have both of these bags filled with exactly the same items, item for item. So as far as if you do the numbers, the Indiana Gear Bag is actually a little bit larger in capacity. It will hold a little bit more, but I never shove the bags full of stuff anyway. I always just put a few necessities in there for taking out on the weekends. As far as getting to the contents, check mark goes to the Indiana Gear Bag. It's easier to access the contents, and that is because it's easier to get in. It's a one-handed closure, very ingenious, thick heavy-duty leather, copper rivet, stainless steel ring here, 4 copper rivets and big piece of leather holding it on. But the access is great. It's the full width of the bag. So it's easy to get stuff in and out of, whereas on the Filson bag, which is technically you could do it with one hand. You can undo it with one hand. You can't close it with one hand, but you can undo it with one hand. But you need 2 hands technically to close a roller buckle and strap. But they've got a storm flap on the Filson, and then a smaller opening to keep the weather out, which is probably a good idea, but it makes accessing the contents a little more challenging. For example, you can put a full-size iPad in either bag, but it's a lot easier to get out of this bag. You have to kind of finagle it to get it out of the Filson bag. And here you can, because it's the full width opening, you can see everything in there pretty easily. And on the Filson bag, you kind of have to look in the corners to see what you might need to get out of there. As far as pockets, there's only 2 pockets on the Indiana Gear Bag. There's the main compartment, and then there is a pocket in the back here that is fully sewn on the bottom, so you can throw small items in there. So it's just 2 pockets. If you count this kind of pen loop kind of thing, that might be classified as a 3rd pocket. So nice place to store your pens. In the Filson bag, you've got this pocket here, so you can put your wallet and cell phone in there possibly. You've got 2 outside pockets. To me, outside pockets aren't all that important because you're not going to carry anything valuable in there. You're not going to put your keys in there or your cell phone or something because, if you're in a crowd, going through a museum or an amusement park, you want to make sure that the stuff that's important to you does not go walking off somewhere. So I never use the side pockets myself. They both have back pockets. The back pocket on the Indiana Gear Bag is quite a bit larger than the back pocket on the Filson bag, both suitable for airline tickets or receipts or a small book or a phone, a cell phone. The Filson bag, it's sewn all the way around, and on the Indiana Gear Bag, it is held on with copper rivets, and so if you put like change in there or something small, it could slip out through the bottom, so it wouldn't be suitable for that. You'd put larger items in there. Okay, so technically 3 pockets on the Indiana Gear Bag. All right, price-wise, yeah, they are the Indiana Gear Bag's a little more expensive than the Filson bag, so $247 versus $182 for the Filson. If you were comparing prices alone and you wanted something from Filson for $247, you would get rid of that and you would get something like this, which is the medium field bag. Quite a bit larger, completely different animal. Same price as the Indiana Gear Bag, but this isn't something that you're just, I mean, this is for travel. This isn't something you're going to, you know, take out to lunch or to a museum or something, unless you were a curator or something. But these are the two bags that are gaining in popularity as far as size-wise that people are going to want to carry with them. So I like both bags. I'm very much looking forward to getting more use out of this brand new product. If I were going to go buy either of these bags today and I was able to handle both of them and look at both of them, they kind of appeal in different ways. The Indiana Gear Bag has a much more rustic appeal to it. It's you know, it's got kind of raw edges with a lot of stitching, copper rivets, whereas the Filson bag is a little more detailed. There are no raw edges on it anywhere. They're either sewn over with leather or inside the bag. Those seams are wrapped with a like a fabric piping and then sewn, so there's no exposed edges in the Filson bag. So this is kind of old school, kind of traditional, kind of country gentleman or gentlewoman type of carry, and this is more of a rustic appeal altogether. And so I'm going to throw my hat in with the Indiana Gear Bag for now. It's got a little more capacity. It's got a lot easier access to the flap as well as easier access to the contents. They both hold about the same amount, with getting the contents out of the Indiana Gear Bag a little easier. They are not the same weight. The Indiana Gear Bag is about 30% heavier than the Filson bag when empty, but that's not a big issue for me because they are smaller, on the smaller side, and you know, could be carried comfortably all day. So wanted to show them to you. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and again, thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.